Can you see the screen? Can all of you see the screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can see this.
It's visible, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So today we'll be starting with The Tempest. But before we start with this play, who can tell me the meaning of tempest? What is the meaning of tempest? What is a tempest? Anyone? Yes, Moham.
It means a storm.
Yes, it means a storm, a terrible storm, a fierce storm, right? So the title of this play comes from this particular scene, because in this scene, the first scene which we are going to study just now or start with just now, this scene, you will come to know that a ship is caught in a fierce storm, right? There is a fierce storm and a ship is caught with many passengers on board the ship. Those passengers on board the ship, they are the important characters of this play, right? But before we start, let's have a look at the important characters of the play. First one is King Alonso. King Alonso is the king of Naples, right? Ferdinand, the second one, is the son of King Alonso. So he is the Prince of Naples. Sebastian. Sebastian is the brother of King Alonso and uncle of Ferdinand, right? Prospero. Prospero is the most important character in this play. He's the protagonist of the play. The entire play will be controlled and will revolve around Prospero, right? So Prospero is the most important character of the play, and who is he? The rightful Duke of Milan, who has been thrown out of his dukedom by his brother Antonio. Who is Antonio? Antonio is the brother of Prospero and the usurping Duke of Milan. He has thrown out his brother Prospero and taken over the dukedom of Milan. So he has just snatched that dukedom from his brother Prospero. Gonzalo. Gonzalo is an honest old counselor, right? Then these are the minor characters, Adrian and Francisco. They are the lords. They don't play a very important role. Here and there, one or two speeches will be uttered by them. Then we have Trinculo. Trinculo is an important character of the subplot of the play. Who is Trinculo? Trinculo is a jester, right? Or you can say a clown. Stefano. Who is Stefano? Stefano is a drunken butler, right? Then we have few other minor characters, the master of the ship, the boatswain, and the mariners, right? You will come across these characters, that is the master of the ship, the boatswain, and the mariners, only in Act 1, Scene 1, and then in Act 5. In the rest of the play, they don't play any important role, right? So these are the minor characters. Caliban, a savage and deformed slave. Then we have Miranda. Miranda is the only female character of the play, right? In this play, you have only one female character, and that is Miranda. She is the daughter of Prospero, and later on, she is engaged to Ferdinand and becomes the wife of Ferdinand. Okay. Ariel is an airy spirit. Iris, Ceres, Juno, nymphs, reapers. These are, a mask is performed, and these are the important characters of that masque, right? The spirits, they disguise themselves as Iris, Ceres, Juno, nymphs, reapers. They come in Act 4. So we'll talk about them in Act 4 only, which will be in your next class, not in class 11. This is clear? Then we have other spirits who attend on Prospero. Scene 1 opens on board a ship at sea, and the rest of the scenes, they take place on the island. See, it's very easy to remember as far as Tempest is concerned, easier than Merchant of Venice. In Merchant of Venice, you were supposed to remember where a particular scene takes place. In this particular play, it's only scene 1 which takes place on a ship which is at sea, caught in a storm, and the rest of the scenes, that is from Act 1, Scene 2 till Act 5, all the scenes take place on the island. So if a question is asked, where are the characters? You just have to write the island. The scene takes place on the island. That is enough. This much will suffice. Please, if you are not sure whether the scene is taking place inside the cave, outside the cave, behind the cave, on the cave, under the cave, please don't write that stuff. The scene takes place on a part of the island, another part of the island, that is enough. Island, that word island is the keyword, that will fetch you marks for reference to context. But if you try to be more specific, and in an attempt to be more specific, you give a wrong answer. Suppose you write the scene takes place inside Prospero's cave, and the scene doesn't take place there, then you will lose marks. You will get a 0. So on the island is the safest answer for all the rest of the scenes. As far as this particular scene is concerned, it takes place on the ship at sea. Clear? Okay. So before we start with this act, let's first talk about this act. See, this is the first act of this play. And it is this is the first scene of this play, and this is a very important scene because all the future events of the play, all the events which will take place will be related to this particular scene. If this tempest and shipwreck would have not occurred, the rest of the scenes would have not taken place. So that is the significance of this particular scene. In a long answer question, they might ask you, it was asked in one of your board exams, that what is the significance of Act 1, Scene 1? First significance is that it highlights the theme of the play, the tempest, the title of the play, right, has been given because of this scene. Because when the play starts, there is a tempest and a ship is caught in a tempest, and it ultimately leads to the shipwreck. And because of this shipwreck, all the people who were on board the ship, they somehow managed to reach the island. And then the rest of the things, they happen to them, with them on that island. So that is the significance of this particular scene. Right? So it is an important scene, though a very short one, but it is an important scene because this in this scene, all the important characters, they reach the place where they will perform certain activities, and some activities will be performed on them. Things will happen to them. Right? Another important thing which we come to know about from this particular scene is this Shakespeare's knowledge of ship and sailing. Right? Shakespeare had a good knowledge of ships and how the ships, they function and how they operate. Right? We come to know about that. Throughout this particular scene, there will be a lot of disorder, chaos, confusion, noise. There are words which will depict noise, confusion. Another theme of this particular scene is class discrimination, right? We come to know about class discrimination in the times of Shakespeare, right? How the people belonging to the lower class or the lower strata of the society, how they were supposed to behave with the people belonging to the higher class or the nobility, right? And they were even punished if they didn't do that. Clear? So these are the important things about this particular scene. Anything you want to ask till now? Okay.
Amit Madhyan, I want to see your face. Yes, sit properly.
So on board a ship at sea, first we'll read the introduction of this particular scene. The play opens with a shipwreck, as I've already told you. The passengers are distinguished personalities. See, the people on board this particular ship, they are not common people or commoners. They belong to the royalty. They are royal people. So the passengers are distinguished personalities. They include Alonso. I told you Alonso was the king of Naples. Sebastian, his brother. Antonio, the usurping Duke of Milan. Ferdinand, the son of Alonso. Gonzalo, an honest old counselor, and others. So they are important personalities, right, who are on this particular ship. Then what happens? A furious storm is blowing together with the noise of thunder and lightning. There seems to be no hope of survival. Most of the passengers are screaming and shouting in desperation. Right? So I told you there is a lot of chaos, confusion. People are shouting, screaming, running here and there in an attempt to save their lives. The storm representing chaos, violence, and disruption gives the play its title, Tempest. Right? So the play gets its title from this particular scene. Scene 1. On board a ship at sea, a storm with thunder and lightning. The scene begins with the master of the ship. Who is the master of the ship? The captain of the ship is the master. And the boatswain. Who is the boatswain? The boatswain is an officer who works on the ship, right? Normally the person who is responsible or in charge of the sails is the boatswain, right? So the scene begins with the conversation between the master and the boatswain. Master, boatswain. So master calls the boatswain. Boatswain. Here, master, what cheer? So the boatswain says, yes, master, I'm here. What do you want? What's the matter with you? What cheer means? What's the matter? Right? What do you want me to do? Master. Good. Speak to the mariners. Fall to it yearly, or we run ourselves aground. Be stir, be stir. Be stir, be stir means be quick. Right? So from these lines, we come to know that the situation is tensed. Right? There is panic among the officers of the ship, among the people who are in charge of the ship. So the master calls the boatswain and gives him certain instructions. He says that good, speak to the mariners, go and talk to the mariners. Mariners are the sailors, right? The people who work on the ship. Go and talk to the mariners. Fall to it yearly. Fall to it yearly means quickly, immediately. Go and obey my instructions promptly, quickly, immediately. Or we run ourselves aground, or our ship will be dashed to pieces, right? We'll sing. Be stir, be stir. Be stir, be stir means quickly, quickly. Don't waste time. Without wasting further time, you should go and do whatever I have instructed you immediately. Exit. And with this, the master and the boatswain, they leave the scene. Enter mariners. So now, because the master instructed the boatswain to go and talk to the mariners, so the boatswain talks to the mariners. Boatswain, hi my hearts, cheerly, cheerly my heart. So, see, what is the boatswain trying to do? He's trying to boost the morale of the mariner, right? He's trying to lift up the spirits of the mariner because they would have also started panicking, right? So he wants to boost their morale, he wants to motivate them, and so he addresses them as hi my hearts. Hi means cheer up. My hearts means my brave fellows, my brave sailors, cheer up. Cheerly, cheerly my hearts. Work cheerfully my hearts. My brave sailors, work cheerfully, don't lose hope, right? So he's using these words to keep them motivated. Take in the topsail. Tend to the master's whistle. Tend to the master's, tend to something means listen to the master's whistle. Pay attention to the master's whistle. Exeunt mariner. So the mariners, they again leave the sea. After the boatswain has given them the instructions, they leave the scene. Blow till thou burst thy wind. And so now the boatswain is talking to the storm. He says, blow till thou burst thy wind. Blow, blow as much as you want till you burst your wind, if room enough. See, what happens when we are very annoyed and angry? What do you say? We even start talking to inanimate objects. So the boatswain is also doing the same. Because the storm, the ship is out of control, right? He's finding it difficult to take care of the ship, to manage the control of the ship. So what is he doing? He started shouting, blow, blow as much as you want. He's talking to the storm. Till you burst your winds, right? Blow at your worst, blow as much as you want. If room enough, some lines are missing. Okay, no. So if room enough. So he says that if there is enough space, see what they have to do. They have to keep their ship away from the shore, right? They have to manage. They have to anyhow keep their ship in the sea because the waters are shallow near the banks, right? And what will happen because the storm is blowing, so the ship will move towards the land. See, there is a small island there. So the ship was trying to move towards the land. And what will happen then? There'll be a shipwreck, it will sink, right? It will be stuck. Then the ship will not be able to move. So he says that if there is room enough, if there is a space enough, then I'll be able to control the ship. I'll be able to keep the ship to the sea. See, now if they ask you a question that how do you come to know about Shakespeare's knowledge of ship? These are the words. You will have to take the words and the phrases from this particular scene. Take in the topsail. Take in the topsail means lower the topsail, right? So these words and these phrases, they enable us to know that Shakespeare had a good knowledge, a decent knowledge of the ships. Clear? So you will have to quote these lines if this question is asked. Now what happened? See, because there is a lot of confusion in the ship, everyone is running, the officers of the ship are running here and there, the mariners are panicked, and then so what happens? The sailor, the people, the passengers who are on board the ship, the people who are there on board the ship, they also understand the situation, right? They have also realized that now their lives are in danger. And so what happens? They come out and they want to talk to the master of the ship. So who all enter the scene? Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Ferdinand, Gonzalo, and others. So these are the courtiers. Who is Alonso? Right? The first act of Shakespeare is normally he only does the job of introducing the main character. Whether it is Tempest or earlier you have read Shakespeare, that is Merchant of Venice, right? What happens in Act 1? All the main characters, they are introduced. And he tells their background, right? Just an introduction of the characters and their situation. If you remember Merchant of Venice, in Act 1, Scene 1, Antonio is introduced, Bassanio and a few minor characters, they are introduced. In Act 1, Scene 2, we come to know about the heroine of the play, that is Portia. She is introduced and her situation is introduced. The reader, they come to know about the situation of Portia and about Portia in Act 1, Scene 2. Similarly, this act will talk about the introduction of the main characters of the play. Act 1, Scene 1 will introduce these characters, that is Antonio, Sebastian, Antonio, Ferdinand. Act 1, Scene 2 will introduce the protagonist of the play, that is Prospero, and his daughter Miranda. So in Act 1, in this entire Act 1, you will be introduced to all the major characters of the play, right? Then another characteristic of Shakespeare's plays is that there is always a main plot and a subplot, right? Taking the example of Merchant of Venice, the main plot included characters like Antonio, Bassanio, Portia, right? They were the characters of the main plot. And then there was a subplot also, right? Lancelot and all, right? They were the characters of the subplot. Similarly, in this play also, there will be a main plot which will include these main characters, that is Prospero, Miranda, Alonso, Ferdinand, Sebastian, Antonio. These are the characters of the main plot. And then there will be a subplot also. Stefano, Trinculo, and they are the characters of the subplot. So in the first act, he introduces the characters. It's an introductory act, right? Then the second act, from the second act, the action begins. Both in both the plots, that is the main plot and the subplot, right? Third act, normally what happens is there is the problem is being talked about. There is a problem. And in the last act, which is normally the fourth or the fifth act, the conclusion. Everything is resolved. In Shakespearean tragedies, the things are resolved normally by the death of the protagonist. And in a comedy, the things are resolved with the denouement or the ringing of the marriage bells, and everything is happy in the end. Right? The problem is resolved. The problem which was created in Act 3 is normally resolved. Okay, so this is how Shakespeare writes his plays. Right? This is his style of this was his style of writing. Okay. Is Tempest a comedy or a tragedy? Who can tell me?
Ma'am,
Literature.
comedy.
Yes, Tempest is a comedy. What is a comedy?
Ma'am, a comedy where so there is some element of fun and there is not a sad ending.
Yes, not element of fun. That is not the literary definition of comedy. Comedy means, as far as the literature is concerned, comedy means a piece of writing which can be a play or a novel or anything which has a happy ending. Right? Tragedy means the events will be very serious and they will ultimately lead to the downfall or the death of the protagonist.
Like Julius Caesar.
So that is the tragedy. Right? So this is a comedy. What was Merchant of Venice?
Comedy.
Merchant of Venice was basically a tragicomedy. Right? Because the situation becomes very tragic just before the end. Right? So it can be classified as a tragicomedy. But then the broader classification will be a comedy because again the things are, the play ends with the ringing of the marriage bells. Right? And everyone is happy. All the characters, they come together and the problem is resolved. No problem. Fine. So then, because there was so much chaos in the ship, so these people, they enter the scene. That is Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Ferdinand, Gonzalo, and others. Why? Because they are the noble people, so they want to know what's going on. So they come in search for the master of the ship. Alonso, good boatswain, have care. Where is the master? Play the men. So good boatswain. So my good fellow boatswain, just be careful. Right? Why be careful? Because we are facing a difficult time. So be careful. Take care of the ship properly. Where's the master? I see, because he was the king, he will not talk to the boatswain. Right? Kings don't talk to normal workers of the ship. Right? He will talk to the officer of the ship who is highest in rank. Right? So he asked the boatswain, where is the master? I want to talk to the master. Play the men. Play the men means be manly, act with spirit, don't lose courage, don't give up, right? So face the storm bravely and with courage. That means play the men. So he tells the mariners to be courageous, to be brave in dealing with the storm. And then he asks the whereabouts of the master. Boatswain, I pray now, keep below. So the boatswain is very busy and he's really not interested in replying or talking to any of these people who entered the scene. He's not even interested in talking to the royal people. He says, I pray, I request you, please go. Just now, don't disturb me, right? I'm working. My job at the present moment is to save the ship. So you please keep quiet and just go back to your cabins. I don't want you to be here. Antonio, where is the master? Boatswain. So now see, this was something very humiliating for the king. A normal person like a boatswain, right? A commoner like a boatswain, he's talking to the king and the royalty like this, right? So this annoys Antonio, right? Where is the master, boatswain? So he again asks in a very stern manner, where is the master? We want to know where is the master of the ship, where is the captain of the ship, boatswain? Please tell. Boatswain, do you not hear him? You mar our labor. Keep your cabins. You do assist the storm. So boatswain is irritated. See, once we are facing a problem, once we are in a problematic situation, right? Anyhow, he's trying to save the ship. then there are people who are interfering in his job. So what will happen? How will you react? How will you feel if this happens to you, that you are working and you are very busy, and then there is someone who is coming up to you and then asking irrelevant things? How will you react? You will be irritated, yes or no? All of us will be irritated, right? So the boatswain is irritated. He loses his temper. He says, can't you hear the master? The master was there whistling and instructing the mariners, right? Because earlier the boatswain said that tend to the master's whistle, right? You have to listen to the captain's whistle. So boatswain tells Antonio, do you not hear him? Can't you hear him? You mar our labor. You mar our labor means you are destroying our efforts, right? You are spoiling our efforts to save the ship. Keep your cabins. So keep your cabins means please, I request you to go back to your cabins and stop disturbing us. You do assess the storm. If you will go on standing here and talking to us and interfering in our job, then you are in a way helping the storm to wreck our ship, right? By disturbing us in doing our jobs, you are indirectly helping the storm in fulfilling its objective. What was the objective of the storm? To cause shipwreck, right? So by doing this, you are in a way assisting the storm in destroying us. This is clear? Any problem till here? Gonzalo, nay, good, be patient. Now see, Gonzalo was an old man, an old wise man, right? He was an old wise courtier. So old people, they normally don't lose their patience so easily. They are always calm and composed. They try to handle the situation, right? So Gonzalo interferes and he says, nay, good, be patient. So he says, no, good sir, relax. Why are you getting hyper? Relax, be patient, don't lose your temper. Boatswain, when the sea is, hence, what cares these rowers for the name of the king? To cable, silence, trouble us not. So boatswain says, when the sea is not calm, when the sea is in such a chaotic mood, then how can you ask us to be calm? Right? So when the sea is not calm, when the sea is not patient, right? So hence what cares these rowers for the name of the king? And don't you dare stand here and tell me the name of the king. Because these rowers, who are the rowers? The lightning, thunder, sea, storm, these are the rowers. Right? So these rowers, these waves which are rising high because of the storm, these are the rowers. They don't care about the name of the king. They don't care who the king is. They don't discriminate between the royalty and the commoners. They will drown every one of us. Right? So this is what the boatswain tell them, that these natural calamities, they don't discriminate between anyone, right? So to cable, silence, trouble us not. So that is why I am asking you again that please keep quiet and go back to your cable, right? So any doubt? No. Gonzalo, good. Yet remember him whom thou hast aboard. So Gonzalo says, all right, whatever you are saying, I try to understand. That I understand this fact that these rowers, that is these waves, which are these high rising waves, this thunderstorm, they don't care about who the king is. But still, I agree to what you said, but still, you should remember who you have on board the ship, who is there as a passenger on your ship, right? You cannot ignore this fact. So you have to observe proper etiquette, right? Proper manners, how you are supposed to behave with royal people, right? This is definitely not the right way of talking to noblemen, right? I told you in the beginning that one of the major themes of this particular scene is class discrimination. So this is how Shakespeare has highlighted class discrimination, right? You will come to know about these things from the conversation between the boatswain and Antonio Alonso and others, right? Yet remember whom thou hast aboard. Whom thou hast aboard means whom you have on board the ship. Who are the passengers of your ship? You cannot forget this fact. Boatswain. Now see, this is an important speech. Please mark it as important. None that I more love than myself. Right? There is no one on board the ship whom I love more than myself. Everyone loves himself or herself the most. So Boatswain is talking about a very practical thing, right? He says, there is no one on board the ship, no matter whether I have a king, a queen, or whosoever is there. I give it to Dan. Because I love myself the most. All of us love ourselves the most, right? So he is talking about this basic fact. None that I more love than myself. You are a counselor. Now you call yourself a counselor. You say you are an advisor. Now, if you can command these elements to silence, I ask you, now you are a counselor, you go on advising people, you are standing here and advising me also, right? To keep my gap shut and to talk to these royal people in a proper way. If you are a great advisor, I request you, please command these elements to silence. Now, what are these elements? The waves, the storm, the lightning, the thunder. These are the elements, the natural elements. See, they can ask you, I told you in reference to context, they will ask you the meanings. The last question of the reference to context is related to the meaning. So the elements, they have given the meaning of the elements. The wind, waves, and all these thunder, lightning, all these other elements here. If you can command these elements to silence. So, if you are a great advisor, I request you, please go and ask these elements, ask these waves to keep quiet, right? Please try to calm down this thunderstorm and work the peace of the present. And if you can calm down the entire atmosphere at the present moment, we will not hand a rope. Our job will be done. I will leave the rope just now. You think yourself to be a great advisor? You can take care of the situation. You can handle the situation. Come, I'm giving you a chance. Try, make an attempt to calm down everyone, all these natural elements which are out of control, which are adamant on taking our lives at the present moment. Please handle them. I give you authority. You use your authority, right? And then our job will be done. I need not handle a rope more. I will leave all the ropes and I'll sit quietly in one corner, right? I will not scream, shout. I will not get irritated if this job is done. If you cannot, and if you cannot do that, if you don't have the power to calm down these natural elements, which are in a disturbed state at the present moment, if you cannot do that, if you don't have the powers to do that, give thanks you have lived so long. Then thank God for the life which you have lived till the present moment, right? Be thankful to God for your life and make yourself ready in your cabin for the mischance of the hour. And then go back to your cabins, thank God, ask for forgiveness for what all wrongs you have done till now, and go back to your cabin and prepare yourself for the mischance of the hour. What is the mischance of the hour here? The mishappening, the calamity which is about to befall on all of us. That is the death, right? Because if the ship will wreck, all the passengers will be drowned in the sea, right? So if you don't have the capability to do that, then better go back to your cabins, thank God, and prepare yourself for death. If it so happens, hap means happen. If it so happens, because this is the most likely thing just now, right? Because looking at the situation and looking at the state of affairs, I can say that this is something which is very likely to happen. So most probably this will happen. So you better go into your cabin and prepare yourself for death after giving thanks to your God. Cheerly, good heart. And then he ignores Gonzalo, right? After saying this much, he starts talking to the mariners and he says, cheerly, good hearts, out of our way, I say. And then he says, just stay out of my way. Right? This he says to Gonzalo and others. Just be away. Don't disturb. Get out of my way. Right? Okay. What can you tell me about the character of the boatswain from this conversation? Which character means, see, from all these 3-4 dialogues which the boatswain had with Gonzalo and the other people, certain character traits of the boatswain are highlighted. Right? What type of a person is the boatswain? At least one characteristic of the boatswain.
Ma'am, aggressive. Aggressive. Aggressive, ma'am.
Yes, he is an aggressive person, right?
Ma'am, impatient, ma'am.
Impatient. What else?
Ma'am, he is very much concerned about his life.
Yes, he is very much concerned about his life and he knows his duty properly and he believes in doing his job properly. He doesn't like to be disturbed. Right? He is an aggressive man. Fine. This is one of the characteristics of the boatswain, which we come to know from this particular conversation. Then one more characteristic. He has one good point also. That yes, he was doing his job properly. Being a boatswain, being an officer of the ship, his primary responsibility was to save the ship anyhow, and not to go on honoring these royal people who are trying to disturb him. When these royal people, they tried to disturb him in his work, he disregarded them. Right? So, please mute yourself. Clear? So this also we come to know about the boatswain. And about Gonzalo, at least one character trait of Gonzalo.
Ma'am, he is calm.
He is?
Very calm.
He is very calm. Yes, he is very calm and a very patient person, and he is a wise person also. Because when these people, that is Antonio and Sebastian, they try to enter into an argument, right? The way Antonio says, where is the master, boatswain? Right? He again repeats. So you can just imagine his tone and his temper at that particular moment. right? He is annoyed with the boatswain. So Gonzalo interferes and he asks them to don't lose their calm. He asks the boatswain to keep quiet because he knows that if the boatswain goes on misbehaving with these royal people, he will land himself in trouble. He'll most probably be hanged. I think we should end here because it's almost time. We'll continue further.